Hello everybody, Sir Beaton here and welcome back to another mathematics video. In this video, we will be looking at reflection. So let's head straight into this video. So first of all, what is reflection? Now we define our reflection as a transformation in which the object turns about a line called the mirror line. In doing so, the object actually flips, leaving the plane and turn it over that it lands on the opposite side. So simply put, a reflection is like looking in the mirror, and we're trying to describe this process that happens when we look in the mirror geometrically. So now let's look at how we can describe a reflection. So to describe a reflection, we state the position of the mirror line. That is the first thing we must find. Because if you want a reflection to happen, there must be a mirror. So this is a straight line. Now the straight line can be horizontal, vertical, or it can even be slanted. And to get this line, we must state the equation of that line. So most times it's horizontal or vertical, and to state the equation of that line will be very easy. Sometimes it's slanted. And when it's slanted, we know to find the equation of a slanted straight line. So let's head into an example. So the example says a line segment PQ with P being 1, 2 and Q being 3, 4 is reflected in the x-axis. Perform this reflection and state the coordinates of P prime and Q prime, the images of P and Q under the reflection. So there are some key things here. So P is 1, 2 and Q is 3, 4. So let's first plot the point P, which is 1, 2. So we go 1 across and 2 up. So here would be the point P. And then Q would be 3, 4. So we go 3 across and 4 up. So here would be the point Q. And then of course, to get this line segment, we connect the points P and Q. Now it says PQ, which is this line segment, undergoes a reflection in the x-axis. So it reflected over the x-axis. So we know this is the x-axis right here. So the beauty about the reflection is actually one of the easiest of the transformation to perform. So because it reflected over the x-axis is the mirror line. So what we do, we take both the points P and Q. So let's take the point P and we count and go towards the x-axis. So we count 1, 2, and then after we reach the x-axis, we count out the same amount of times or the same amount of steps that we took to reach the mirror. So in this case, we took 2, so we count out 1, 2. So here would be the point P prime. And then we do the same thing for Q. So we see we count 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we count out 1, 2, 3, 4. So here would be the point Q prime. And then we just connect the lines P prime and Q prime. And that would give us the image of the line segment PQ. And it also said to state the coordinates of P prime. So the coordinates for P prime would be, so we see we go 1 across and we go -2 times down. So it's 1, -2. And the coordinates for Q prime would be, we go 1, 2, 3 times. So the coordinates for Q prime would be 3, +3. And you see we go down 1, 2, 3, 4. +3, -4. And that would be the coordinates for P prime and Q prime. And that's how you perform a reflection. You just count and go towards the mirror line. And depending on the amount of times you count, you do the same thing on the opposite side. So let's look at another one. Let's look at how we can describe a transformation that is a reflection. So we have the triangle ABC is reflected over a line, and they want us to describe this transformation. So remember the key things that I said to describe a transformation. First of all, we must state the type of transformation. You must identify that first of all. You'll get some marks as long as you do that. So in this case, we know it's a reflection. And because it's a reflection, we must state the main things that must happen for a reflection to happen. And we know the key thing for a reflection would be the mirror line. So we see the line is drawn straight through this point here. So we see on the y-axis, the line is drawn through 2. So this reflection happens over the line y equals 2 because the line draws straight through 2 on the y-axis. So this equation of this line is very easy to get. So it's y equals 2. And had the line drawn straight through -8 on the y-axis, the equation of that would have been y equal negative 8. And had it drawn through, straight through here, on the x-axis, of course, the equation of this line would be x equals 8. So that's how easy it is to get the mirror line once it's through the x-axis or through the y-axis. So to describe this transformation, we will say triangle ABC undergoes a reflection about the line, and we say the mirror line now, or we can say about the mirror line, y equals 2, onto triangle A prime, B prime, and C prime. And that is how we describe a transformation that is a reflection. We state the type of transformation, we state the mirror line, and we state the image of the object. So let's look at another one. Let's look at how we can perform a reflection. So it says you reflect ST in the line y equals negative 3. And then state the coordinates for S prime and T prime. So y equals negative 3, we must draw that line first of all. So we know if here is negative 4 and here is negative 2, negative 3 would be this line here. So we draw a straight line through that. And this would be the line y equals negative 3. And now let's perform the reflection. So you see T is here. So to move from T to the mirror, we go one time up. And because you go one time up, we go one time out. So this will now be, this point here will now be T prime. And the same thing for S, we go 2 times up. And because we go 2 times up, we go 2 times out. So this point here would now be S prime. And then we connect the 2 points, of course. And that would be the image of this line, ST. And they want us to state the coordinates. So the coordinates for T prime, the coordinates of T prime, so we see we go, this here would be positive 7. So it's a positive 7. And we go down 2 times. So it's positive 7, negative 2. And then for S prime, we see the coordinates would be, we see we go negative 2 times. And then we go down 1 time. So this is negative 2, negative 1. And that would be the coordinates for S prime, T prime. So with that, this has brought me to the end of this video. So of course, I must leave one for you to practice on your own. I want you to describe the transformation that is happening in this image. And to recap, in order to perform a reflection, we need the mirror line. That is key for a reflection. And then for a reflection, we just count and go towards the mirror line. And depending on the amount of times you count, that is the same amount of times you come out to get the object of that point. And we perform this for all of the points in the object. So with that, this has brought me to the end of this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.